are going to create some panels so we could divide up our panels and thoughts and hopes and dreams and aspirations and put them all on paper and make people buy them in comic form. So before we get started, I really want to show you guys that depending on the brush that you have, because this takes a little bit to get used to. It's kind of weird. So you see how this is the decoration brush. It looks like a house. So if I click onto this and I click vegetation, it changes. Watch it change. See that? It'll change depending on the brush that you'll have selected. And so will the pencil. These change, your icons change. It just takes a second to get used to, because you're looking over, you're like, wait, what? Where's my pen tool at? And so it just takes a second to really think about like where your to think about the category that you're in. So let's do this. This is our frame border, and we have a ruler, we have text tool, and we have balloons. So I have this opened up like here. So let's do this. Let's go to new. And up here we got some settings. And we'll get into the comic book settings and stuff like that. So we're just gonna do one illustration page, and I am going to go with. Okay, so there's not an A4 setting here. So let's do this. Let me look at my A4 settings. Well, we'll just do this. Just to simulate a comic book page. So we will go 1440 by. So we're going to go long ways. That's a little bit long. So 1440 by 2560. That's a 2K screen. It's just kind of simulating our comic book screen. So there's a few ways of doing this. We can go over to our materials panel right over here where all of these little files are at. Right? There's one that's going to say manga material. And it's got a bunch of stuff, and all you do is just drag it over there. Now, if it has a little thing right here with the cloud, obviously that means you have to download it. But right here we got panels. Now, the quickest way to make a panel is if you want to make this panel, bring it over here. And now all of this looks super scary and intimidating. It does. Looks really like what? This is the master folder. All of these are little frames within inside the folder. And this can get confusing. Very, very confusing. So let's do this. We're going to delete. You can just go to that folder and just delete it. You can also do this. This is the frame border. You can create all kinds of custom frames here. Because like all these pre-made frames, if they work for you, great, awesome. But with the frame border, you can just create borders like this. And you notice you get a new. Now you may definitely want to name these. Right? So here you are right here, and you can go in, but you got to click on the one that's below it. So I'm right here, and then I got to click on the one that's below it to draw inside of it. So these are a series of folders stacked on top of each other. Each panel has its own folder. Each panel has its own layer. So if I collapse these, you can see right here. So frame 1 is right there. Frame 2 is right next to it. So now, going back, go frame 3, frame 4, and so on. And so these are little folders, and you can draw inside of them. I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to hit Shift, click, left click. Then I'm going to get rid of all these. You can, there's the polyframe one, where you can actually make all the weird custom things that you want to make. And so you even can overlap them, right? So you definitely can get really creative with your manga stuff here. And there's a border pen where you can just literally just draw a border. I'm not quite sure how this will come in handy, but I don't produce manga every day. Now this is the frame cutting tool. So the way that this works is you take a rectangle frame and you draw it for the whole page. So go ahead and do that. And then right next to it, you can cut the frame. So you can divide frame folder and divide frame border. So you click onto that. Now it helps if you hit the Shift key. And so we've divided the frame folder, and right over here, and this is divide frame border. So if I want to select this, all I gotta do is click, and that's another way. And divide frame border, not quite sure the difference, to be honest with you, because I just thought the last time I checked, I just thought it was just one tool. But it will help for you to collapse your tools as soon as you get them. If you need to rename these, then you just click over, double click, and rename this like top panel. If you do it that way, and this could be like center panel, etc., etc. So that's how you make your own frames. Now, if you have Manga Studio Paint EX, then what you can do is when you hit File, you hit New, you can go over here to Show All Comic Settings is what I prefer, and it'll give you all this stuff about page layout. This is a lot to deal with, and this is primarily for the bleed and all the other technical terms that, quite honestly, I don't ever use. So this is how you create frames, and the only reason, and I'll go into that later about creating those, because it depends on what print. If you're going to print this out, it depends on what printer that you are going to use, because I'm going to go back and do the whole settings menu and show you all the stuff that are in the settings. But like I said, I just want to get you guys up and running as quickly as possible in the first part of the course. And to be honest with you, just in case you're looking at the brush section and you're like, I'll figure that out on my own, or you know what, I'll worry about the custom brushes later. And you can just use this course as a reference course, because I get it. It could be a little boring to sit and learn. I know it's taking me a minute to learn Illustrator. My goodness. Oof. So I completely understand, and I'm not offended if you just look at this course as a reference course. I halfway set it up like that so that you get all of the useful stuff so you can start drawing and creating, and then you could come back and learn about panels and the sub menus and all the other stuff. So I'm going to stop talking. I'll see you in the next video.